In late 1999, Capcom was working on what was supposed to be Resident Evil 4. Hideki Kamiya wanted to make this game a cool, stylized action game. The story was going to be based around an invincible superhuman named Tony. Damn, what a name. Could you imagine the main character of Devil May Cry being named Tony? Tony does still live on in spirit, having his name engraved on Dante's signature dual pistols, Ebony and Ivory. I didn't know this small detail until doing research for this video. Dante also uses the alias Tony Redgrave in the Devil May Cry novel, as well as an episode of the animated series. Small things like this always make me happy. Kamiya wanted the area to make the protagonist look heroic, and what better way than European Gothic architecture. The team spent 2 weeks doing research and taking photos in Europe and Spain. As development continued, producer Senji Mikami felt that the coolness wasn't a very good fit for a survival horror game like Resident Evil. He decided to take the game in a different direction and started a new IP. Kamiya rewrote the story, placing it in a world of demons, taking inspiration from the poem Divine Comedy and from the manga series named Cobra. Putting these together, he made a beloved demon hunter, Dante. While working through development, the title Carnival with a K was chosen, and in November 2000, a new Capcom title was revealed to the world, developed by Team Little Devils. If you're new here, welcome. I am the Archieangel, and if you're returning, you look amazing today, and thank you for your continued support. As usual, the format for this video will be me playing the game as a filthy casual, and addressing things as they come up. I'll be addressing game mechanics, music, or storylines, or the lack thereof. I played the Steam HD release of this game. The HD seems to have only affected the gameplay, so the pre-rendered cinematics look outdated in comparison. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content to show the channel support. With that all out of the way,
let's rock, baby.
Devil May Cry starts with a text scroll that I have never been able to read, so thankfully it's also narrated. Long ago, there was a war between the underworld and our own. A demon named Sparta came to the human world to defend our realm, and went on to rule peacefully behind the scenes until the day he died. And then this blonde falls from the sky. Dante is kicking back, waiting for a call for some work, when said blonde runs down the door with a bike she stole from out front. I've always liked the way that Dante is written here. He's cool and collected until it's time to go to work. This lady rides in, kicks the shit out of him, electrocutes him, stabs him with his own sword, and then throws a motorcycle at him. What's his response? Sarcasm and an ass kicking. That kind of sums up Dante as a character. All of this was really cool to 11-year-old Archie. And even now, I mean, I still find it cool, even if I do cringe a little. This lady's Trish, and she has a job for Dante. She knows about our mother and brother dying 20 years ago, and that Dante is a son of Sparta. She tells us that Mundus, the ruler of the underworld, who was on Earth 20 years ago, is coming back to try to rule over humans again. With that being said, I'm kind of led to believe that Mundus killed Dante's family, at least his mother and his brother. Trish leads us to Malay Island, where an abandoned castle holds some dark secrets. The entirety of the game will take place on this island, and the Little Devils made sure to use every inch of this castle. Dante opens up the door, and Trish demon jumps up the castle, leaving us to find our own way. Right away, the camera angles for this game give us some breathtaking. They make every shot cinematic. Well, until they don't. I'll touch on that more later. A few steps up the stairs and we find a yellow orb. This is one of the many items or consumables in the game. Yellow orbs let you start at the beginning of the last room you died. Red is the currency for upgrades. Green fills health, and if your health is already full, it'll give you red orbs. Then there are devil stars to instantly refill the devil trigger. Vital stars refill health. Untouchable makes you, well, untouchable. and it activates Devil Trigger for the duration. You can also find shards of a blue orb which will upgrade your health, and purple orbs that upgrade your Devil Trigger. You can find these hidden throughout the maps or buy them from the upgrade station. We enter the castle through a secret passage that seals behind us. The castle we have entered is seemingly empty. I use my left stick to move. There are 2 doors. One is blocked, saying we need 45 orbs to enter. More than enough in this first room. So I feel like this was put here to show you right away that some doors are going to be locked for this reason. The other door says that it needs a rusty key. This text and the go there, get that to unlock this are some of the Resident Evil roots showing through. I collect the orbs in the room and I open the door. To the left, there is another door, and to the right, there's the camera. Running towards the camera will flip it to the other side, showing some suits of armor. These suits look 3D away from the wall, so my inner link says smash. The armor is destructible, and there were orbs. I like this. I enter the door and pass by what looks like a puppet, but it doesn't move, so I don't bother it. Then the game does this little thing that I think is clever. It focuses on this red orb in the hole in the ceiling, like a cookie trail, telling me to go up there.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
They use this cookie trail a few times in some of the most perfect spots throughout the game to help us as players go down the correct path. This is good game design. Jumping up the tower, there is another puppet with something glowing in its hands. I press square to interact, getting a rusty key for that one locked door in the first room. After walking away, the puppet throws something at me and starts a fight, which I just begin to press buttons. I run back to the unlocked door, finding a room with an old plane. Why is there a plane? This is a castle. And puppets hanging from the ceiling. I can't shoot them and they don't seem hostile. So, the other door again is locked, saying something about 17 puppets are my master. I see 2 suits of armor in the corner, in front of something with some odd symbols. While hitting the armor, which I now know are breakable from literally 60 seconds ago, I accidentally hit the symbols, causing them to light up. I hit them some more, and a passageway opens up to an area where multiple puppets drop down from the ceiling, and I get my first real taste of combat. The combat is simple enough, mostly because it's based around one button, triangle. Triangle is the melee attack. Starting the game, Dante has his father's blade, Force Edge. Pressing triangle 3 times is a combo, 2 times a small pause, then 5 times is a different combo, and 2 times long pause, then 7 times is a longer combo, ending with a stinger. Holding R1 will pull out Dante's twin pistols, Ebony and Ivory. Pressing square will have them fire. The faster you press the button, the faster they fire. You can also do 2 directional attacks with your melee, while holding R1. Forward with the L stick and triangle will do a lunging attack, while pulling back and triangle will do an uppercut, throwing enemy combatants into the air, allowing for some awesome combos and the ability to juggle opponents. This was actually inspired by a bug in Onimusha Warlords, I believe, that would cause a similar effect. While button mashing is an option, it's not optimal. Being able to chain long combos together is how you get that legendary S tier style point. Oh yeah, Devil May Cry has a style system. Depending on the combo chain length, the style of the combos, if you're getting hit, and the lack of rapidity, you get graded in the top right corner. After defeating the 17 puppets below and above, the door unlocks, leading to your grade for the mission. Devil May Cry is split into 23 small missions, some taking 5 minutes and some can take up to 20. I spent a lot of time on this section because I feel like it is the tutorial to Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry doesn't hold your hand and is often considered a very hard game, especially until you unlock Air Raid. But this is a really good hidden tutorial. Right away we are shown that there are items can be picked up, then there are some doors locked by keys or red orbs. We have to figure out how to jump to get these orbs to open the first door. Getting through this door and finding those suits of armor is learning that some things in the world are destructible. Red orbs leading me in the right direction, keys and other things are shiny. The weird symbols, they need to get hit. Black demon doors mean you have to kill something to get out of that room. And finally, we get that long string of combat. All of this up until combat, you are in a generally safe area to learn, move, and press buttons. I just really love this, and I didn't notice or appreciate it until playing for this review. I don't feel like this first mission gets enough credit for being a safe place to learn, or that the game gets enough credit for having this quiet tutorial. At the beginning of each mission, I am given the option to level up my devil arms, or to purchase upgrades to health or Devil Trigger, or to buy items to make the coming endeavors easier. Using these items does affect your overall mission grade, but they make the game so much easier. I find my way upstairs to the statue with a sword in its chest. The sword flies out of the statue and impales Dante through the chest for this cinematic. We have already seen Dante get stabbed once, but this is showing us as a spectator that not only is he very durable, but he's probably been stabbed a lot. I can see no other way ripping the hilt of a sword through your torso and your neck could look that cool if it was your first time. This sword is Alistor, our first upgradable weapon in the game, known as a Devil Arm. In Devil May Cry, there are only 2 Devil Arms you can acquire, but in later games, they become a staple of the gameplay with many more options. These are just very humble beginnings. Acquiring Alistor also unlocks Dante's Devil Trigger. After fighting the blade, I enter the room next to it to see a painting with a Grim Reaper looking figure, and of course something shiny. It's a key. There's also a shotgun in this room, which can be easily missed. This is the loop. Find a door locked by a key of some kind, or orbs, or locked by killing something. As you dive deeper, the demons in the castle attempt to stop you. Exploring every corner is very necessary. Seeing part of a door in the top corner of the screen may be the one unlocked door you need to continue through. Sometimes a dead end isn't a dead end. Sometimes there's just something that needs to be stabbed. The game is sometimes so simple it's frustrating. Things like hitting this, it moves, but nothing happens. There's no prompt to do anything else, but I know this is the right way. Oh, just interact with a trapdoor. There's nothing that tells you to do that. Dropping down, you find a staff. You need to put this where the blade Alistor was. But this trapdoor also leads back to the painting that I got the key from to open the door for the room that has the trapdoor. Holy shit. This is what I meant by they used every inch of the castle. They use it, 2 to 3 times in some cases, backtracking to open previously locked doors most times. Upon entering this room, the painting comes to life and attacks me. I love the choice to make enemy introductions in-game cinematics. There are some really amazing ones, and I'll point them out as they come up. There are some things that I have just never understood the train of thought of, like Mission 3. All the doors lock and we are shown a tablet. Okay, go to the tablet. The tablet opens the door. Okay. Run across the bridge, read things, run back, bridge is struck by lightning, you fall into a tunnel under the water. Why is my health bar vibrating? Am I taking damage? And have to fight floating skulls. What the fuck happened? How is this a trial of pride? Why is there this semi-underwater section? Foreshadowing. I have so many questions. But Hideki Kamiya tells you to sit down, shut up, and enjoy the violence and music. Anyway, giant spider demon guy.
What a big surprise. I hope for your sake you got something inside that big body of yours.
This is Phantom. He is the first boss we will be encountering. Well, a boss with a health bar, this fight can be very challenging on a first playthrough. Or if you haven't gotten air raid yet. Luckily there are files in the pause menu. Every time you encounter a new devil or demon, or monster, Dante takes notes. Doing certain things to the devils, mostly fighting them or being hit by them, will add more notes to the entry. A full entry will tell you how to not get hit or where to hit, the strengths, the weaknesses, and a small description. As a small side note, I've always wondered why this was the design. Why is Phantom considered a devil or a demon when it doesn't really fit the normal idea of one to me? I didn't find my answer, but I did find other cool things, like he was the right hand of Mundus and a great general in his army, seeming to have a similar rank as Sparta. Along with the pillars of lava that he summons are actually souls of the dead. To beat him, you need to damage him while his tail isn't covering the weak spot on his back. I find this fight easier on the second hard playthrough. I'm not sure if it was because I had better stuff or if I myself was better at the game. Back to files real quick. I also found out that those skulls are named Sargassos, which appear to be named after the Sargasso Seas. They are hidden between the bounds of the sea and the underworld. I still think they just wanted to reuse floating skulls. I mean, hey Kamiya, I made these skull things. Those don't look like devils. No boss, they are. And get this, they live under the water. Why? I don't know, they're eating drowning people's souls? You know what? Fuck it. You had me at skulls. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I feel like saving needs to be explained in this game. When you save the game partway through a mission, it does not save your progress through the mission, but it saves the state of your items and your orbs at that point, which can be abused to help make the level grind just a little bit easier. Right away after defeating Phantom, I complete the mission. As you walk down the stairs, Phantom pops out of fucking nowhere and chases you down the hallway. As a kid, this scared the shit out of me. Now when this happens, you have two choices. Run into the nearest room and Phantom will just disappear, or run to the end of the hallway and fight. This is a spot where I spent some time grinding out some orbs on my second playthrough. Kill Phantom, save, reload, repeat. Phantom will show up a few times doing these chase sequences, so use them while you can. Some rooms after you clear and leave, you can unlock secret missions that you can revisit that room to complete. They are normally some type of time challenge or puzzle you need to figure out, and you are rewarded with orbs or items of some kind. I didn't do any of these on my first playthrough. I did spend some time looking for them on my second. These are mostly fun, and some are super stupid. I'll point stupid ones out later. After Phantom tries to run you down, you're able to take the tablet to a lion statue, and its eyes begin to glow. Smashing the statue will release a panther-like shadow. This changes depending on the difficulty, but on the normal playthrough, it's a shadow. After the shadow, you enter the lion-headed door, dropping to the bottom where you will find a stabby thing to activate the lift to the top of the stairs. This is the only way to get this sword. That is really a key. Everything in this game is really just a key. You use this key to stab the statue and you get a ball from it. This ball is also just a key. After getting the key ball, Dante notices his reflection in the mirror is not matching his movements.
This stinking hole was the last place I thought I'd find anyone with some guts.
Such an odd thing to say. The further I get into this game, the more I hate, but the more I disagree with the script. This is the Black Knight Nilo Angelo. He appears to be a devil, I'm guessing, since he looks much like Dante does while he's in his Devil Trigger. I actually really like the design of Nilo Angelo. So hard to say over and over again. Other than the outlandish sword, and the music they give him for his intro gives off that ominous and mysterious vibe. This fight can be hard if you're a button masher. His attacks are very similar to Dante's, with a lunging slash, an uppercut, an overhead slash, a teleport, and a ranged energy ball. Oh, and he blocks, like, a lot. His weapon will glow blue when he's getting ready to go on the attack. The file on him can be helpful, but I found that jumping behind him while he's blocking or in the middle of an attack is the best way to deal massive damage. This fight is probably the best boss fights in the game. The only gripe I have here is when he goes into phase 2 and he goes up to the castle wall, he will wait for you. But if you misclick or jump too high, he'll begin throwing his ranged energy balls down at you. This is super frustrating when you're trying to get up to him. The same thing happens in phase 3, except he's fucking behind you and out of camera view. And as you jump, you will grab this ledge almost every time you get up here, almost always guaranteeing you're going to take damage. Upon defeating him, you will get this cutscene of Dante and Angelo getting into a fist fight. Wait a minute, where the hell did their swords go? Look, I'm all for badass hand-to-hand combat scenes, but this just doesn't make sense to me. It's cool to watch though, don't get me wrong. Anyway, Dante loses this fist fight, and while he's having a life choked from him, his pendant slips out from underneath his shirt, causing Angelo to freak out and leave. Odd. But maybe this is some kind of odd devil repellent pendant or something? Also, how the hell is Dante wearing this big gaudy necklace underneath all of his stuff, and this is the first time we're seeing it? It's freaking huge. After defeating Angela, a ball key begins to glow, a timer starts, and we are assaulted by a shadow for a second time. Shadows are actually really interesting demons. In their cat form, they are not able to be hurt by sword attacks. So you must use a ranged weapon. I like the shotgun or ebony and ivory for this in most encounters. Dealing damage this way will make the shadow peel off of the orb at the center, which you can melee to deal massive damage. On my second playthrough, I spent a little bit more time reading the file on most of my opponents I faced. Doing this had me find out that you could actually jump on top of the shadow when they do a skewer ring attack. Landing on them while doing this makes them unable to move for a moment, allowing you to pump them full of lead. This technique can actually lead you to defeating them quicker by bypassing the entire orb phase. That is a whole level to this game I didn't even know existed until playing for this review. Anyways, I like the shadows as opponents. So far they have combined everything I have learned this far into the game into one enemy. Dropping to the bottom of the well we were in before will have us find another door that the ball key fits into, completing this mission. The infamous Mission 6. This is probably the most hated, most shit-talked, most frustrating, and most well-documented pain in the ass when it comes to DMC in YouTube history. You cannot watch a walkthrough or a retrospective without hearing people cry about this mission. On my first playthrough, I died so many times. This level is why the first 9 pages of this script, you've been watching the footage from my hard or second playthrough, because it took me so fucking long to beat this level. My hard drive filled up and then corrupted all of my other data. Wow, this level is really only ruined by one enemy. Mission 6 takes place in the sewer of the castle. Opening the first door leads you to a room with nothing but a shiny in it. If I've learned something about empty rooms plus shinies leads to demons trying to kill me, which of course they do. Leaving the room has me heading deeper into the sewers, walking through these 4 simple, happy little black fire things. This activates a trap, blocking into a cage fight with a demon amply named Death Scissors. The sins and deaths can move through walls, making them harder to hit. The only spot on them that can take damage is their mask. Their attacks normally have a very large hit radius, and they have a nasty habit of flying up out of camera view, making their downward screw attacks very hard to dodge. I'm sure this was a quitting point for most people. I think I blame jumping. Up to this point, jumping has been the way that I have gotten away from engagements that have become too much for me. But jumping against a death scissor always leads to a situation where the scissor flies higher above me, making the attacks harder for me to see. But if I stayed on the ground and rolled out of the way, it would miss its attacks more often, leading me to be able to see attacks more consistently. Once again, this battle was much easier on my second playthrough. After defeating probably one of the hardest encounters in the entire game, I grab the next shiny and start the run back. The Phantom comes out of nowhere again. God, this guy just does not give up. This new key is also draining my health. On normal, it's not a big deal, but on higher difficulties, this becomes much harder. Using your health as a resource has always been an interesting idea for me, but as long as there's some kind of trade-off. Here, really, it's just another time limit that gets shortened every time you have an enemy encounter and you get hit. Returning to the mirror room, I put this very hot key into the next door. I should have mentioned this earlier, but the further we dive into the castle, the weirder things get. Like when we met Phantom for the first time, the pillars in that throne room were wiggling. Now, I am walking through a door, and on the other side, I am walking out of a mouth with 3 eyes. What must be some kind of ever-burning hellfire around me? There's also these pillars that look like they're some kind of, I don't know, they look like jars of greed from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe Shrunken Heads. Dante and I have now made it to the roof where Phantom confronts us for the final time. At first, I thought this was a really odd choice of things to say, but considering Phantom ran away in our first encounter, and then proceeded to hound us through multiple missions, only to run away after each encounter, like tag. But every time Dante said that, hey, you're it, Phantom would throw a fit, pack up his toys, and leave, only to come back later and try again. This fight is a joke compared to the first time we fought Phantom. While Dante has been growing stronger, Phantom has not, giving us a strong sense of accomplishment for beating a boss who has been hounding us for multiple missions now. Anyway, impales Phantom on the statue from the tutorial area. This is a nice use of environment. Dante jumps off the other side to find a trident key and then drops into this hole. They find this odd multi-circle thing. This actually really bothers me. This is a lever that Dante needs to hit with a sword, but is one of 2 times that this is used to indicate we were supposed to interact with something. I hit the lever with the sword, grab the grenade launcher, jump down the ladder, use trident to lift gate, use double trigger to run fast enough to get through gate before it closes. Cross bridge that is on the other side of the door. Bridge rises behind me, leaving the only option as forward. Run through some ruins, run down some stairs, meet a new enemy. These are called blades. Nothing really exciting. I do love that the game continues to show off each new monster with its own dedicated intros. The game is meant to be cinematic, and it's doing well on this part. There are 5 doors in this courtyard. One does have a landing strip of these black fires to direct you in the right direction. I mean, if the giant open door gate wasn't helpful enough. Though going through this door probably was one of my least favorite things in this game. Devil May Cry attempts at platforming. I'm not a fan of platformers to start with. Combine that with a camera angle that I can't control, making the depth of each platform that is moving up and down harder to judge. I just don't like it. At the top, we get our second devil arm, Ifrit. They are fire gauntlets that are more effective against certain opponents, while turning all of Dante's attacks into strikes with his arms and legs. Upon leaving the platform room, we are attacked by another boss, a giant bird-like demon named Griffin, or as I like to call him,
Block off, Featherface!
Dante. You're a man of just few but elegant words. Griffin is the eldest of the followers of Mundus. Realistically, he knows he has little chance of beating Dante, but he wants to prove to Mundus that he is still worthy. Griffin is also a boss whose concept came from the first rendition of the game. They simply made it look less zombie and more demonic. I can see that in a lot of the monsters that Dante fights. Some of them look like they could have been from a world of bioweapons or demons. Griffin uses a combination of wind and lightnings as his attacks. He can do a bombing run, beams of lightning from a single ball that move in together, a curtain of electricity. He can also stomp on you with his talons and peck you with his beak. He also has a dive bomb attack. Also for this battle, the red platforms that appear are similar to Dante's air hike ability. You can use these to dodge attacks or jump onto Griffin's back to deal damage. When he takes enough, he'll fall to the ground, allowing you to deal damage to his core of evil. You could do all of this, or you could just run to the next room. This first encounter is completely optional. If you were like me and didn't know that, well, you should give this video a thumbs up. If you defeat him, he runs off much like Phantom did. So now I'm sure we will be facing Featherface at least once more. Following the happy trail of fires, I find myself in a forest. Running through the forest leads to some ruins. Through the ruins leads to a door locked by red orbs. On the other side of these is the forest maze. Another puzzle, I guess? This one is simple. Follow the little light. The pillar has some stuff scribed on it, but that's pretty much the gist. Not following the little light will have you starting from the beginning again. After choosing the right path 3 times, you'll find your way to the next area, and I am met by smaller versions of Phantom called Kylops, with a K, and another K. But Phantom was a joke, and these are nothing in comparison. I also remember as a kid thinking that these are Phantom's offsprings. Early in the run, we also see swarms of tiny spider things, but there are no relationship between Kylops and Phantom at all. Next room, you grab another key, which you place in front of a cup that sets off a trap, giving you the cup but blocking all the exits. Angelo is looking down at you from the wall, giving us our second Dark Knight battle. This one is pretty much identical to the first time Dante fights him. After defeating Angelo, he disperses into lightning, and the camera shows us the way out. I have never understood the ghost ship section. I'm assuming that this level was designed for RE4, and they just didn't have time to come up with something else. Or maybe it was just something to fluff the game time. I don't know. I'm not sure. But there is little to no reason having this underwater bit either. It wasn't fun, and changing the entire style of the game was just a bit jolting. At the beginning of the mission, you get a quick text dump tutorial. During the time underwater, there is no melee. Also, the needle gun will be used by pressing RB, X, or B. A is to swim in a direction, B and X to check. I'm assuming that means interact. Y to quickly switch the camera in the direction that you have the left stick pointing. And the directional pad to choose the direction of movement. Oh, and of course, the D-pad is inverted. Fuck this level. You go on the ghost ship, swim around, try to open a door, get attacked. Killing said attacker lights up all of these little ghost fires, and the ship begins to move. Right off a waterfall. Why? Featherface shows up again, and Dante makes quick work of him. After this, I can open the captain's quarters. In the captain's quarters, I find the Staff of Hermes. And now the boat is sinking. I love being forced into these underwater bits so much. This bit of the game reminds me of those old House of the Dead arcade games. You're stationary and the monsters are just kind of running at you. Get off the boat that isn't sunk. Huh. Little inconsistencies like this will always bother me. Run down the hallway, grab another shiny, then pull an arm that looks like a lever, cause why not? The floor starts moving towards the spiked wall. Oh, that's new. And the floor has spikes. Oh, okay. Run fast, don't get stabbed. Run outside. Looks like Dante is on a cliff face on the other side of the island now. I like how I can cross this bridge and see down where I'm supposed to be going later. Climb down some stairs, I am back at the giant gate. Follow the trail through some side doors, find an underworld rock that makes dark areas lighter. Find spear-shaped keys. On one side, the spears are located, and on the other, the Nightmare Beta, which is another firearm that uses your devil trigger as ammunition, shooting a green laser that bounces. I never use this weapon. Use a spear key to open the door to what looks like a giant arena, and Griffin appears again for a final showdown. For those of you counting at home, that's 3 times. If you count the 2 times of Phantom chasing me down a hallway as 1, since they aren't really fights in my opinion, we also fought him 3 times. I'm just saying I see a pattern. As the battle with Griffin progresses, he loses a wing. I'm a big fan of enemies showing damage in this fashion. It makes the fight feel more like I'm doing damage to a creature than just hitting an object. Upon defeating Griffin, 3 red dots appear in the sky. Oh look, 3. This is Mundus. Griffin begs Mundus to help him by giving him more power. In response, Mundus kills him because of his failures. Trish shows up. Dante tells her that he is sure that Mundus is the one that killed his mother and brother. But in the way that's like, I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing. Which I suppose is suitable. Drew Combs, the voice actor for Dante in DMC1, once said in an interview that he was told that Dante was 23, which would make sense, since he would only have been 3 at the time of his mother's death. Dante swears to kill Mundus in his father's name. I'm over halfway through the game at this point, Dante. We are already kind of committed to this fight anyway. Leaving this battlefield and returning brings us to a secret mission. See, I didn't forget about telling you guys about the ones that suck. So in this one, use the skulls as a jumping pad to get to the top. How about no? Just no. I don't want it. This sucks. Run all the way back down to the drop bridge. Use the seal I got off of Griffin to re-drop the bridge. Enter the castle, and the atmosphere here has changed. Changed drastically. It is night now. This shows that we have been searching for the Staff of Hermes for a while, but also the castle is no longer lit like it was before. And the music is much more dark. And I feel like something's missing. Something big. Oh fuck! That statue, where did it go? Oh, well, it revealed a stabby thing, so... holy hell, but goddamn, I love the enemy intros. Just that though. This is a plasma. It has two forms as shown in the intro scene, a bat and a copy of Dante. These aren't too difficult to beat unless they're in a pack, because they can split and make more copies well in Dante's form. They also take less damage from Alistair, which is a lightning blade itself. While running to the chapel, I know I called it a throne room before, the music begins to pick up a little bit and the feeling of unease is still very much there. The castle has changed. Some doors do not look the same or are gone altogether. Entering the chapel room, the camera brings attention to this puddle, and the wiggly pillars aren't wiggling anymore. Interacting with the pool will have this giant amoeba of goo, bones, and metal jump out. This is a nightmare. Apparently, it's some sort of demonic super bioweapon developed in the underworld. What? This thing is just silly. It won't take damage until you hit the rune wheels placed around the room. Yeah, the stabby things are called rune wheels. I know that. After that, the nightmare takes a solid form of this giant metal tank thing. Now you can deal damage. Deal enough damage and the cores will expose itself, allowing you to deal massive damage and eventually destroying the nightmare. Well, in its liquid state, the blob can swallow Dante, sending him into what I assume is some sort of pocket dimension. Nope. It transports me inside of it. The damn thing fucking ate me. In here, Dante fights the skulls and Phantom. After feeding these, you give it a tummy ache and it pukes you up. This also deals a chunk of damage to the nightmare. After sending the puddle of mud back to hell, I go outside and see the bridge that was destroyed by the lightning earlier is now a collection of floating shards. Yay! More platforming. Shit, I fell. Oh, the game must have known I sucked at platforming, so it just let me kill a few skulls and teleported me across. I actually love this. I put the staff where it belongs, and two passageways to different parts of the castle open up. I use the one on the right. This teleports me to one of the castle's towers. Running up to the top has two more picture portals, but only one is open for me to jump in. This is by far one of my most favorite cinematics in the game. These are frosts. They are very similar to blades in combat style, but they also lose arms in combat, which is a nice touch. These enemies being ice-based, I feel like it goes without saying that they will take more damage from Ifrit than Alistair. I enter a room with a T-Rex skeleton shooting fireballs at me. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out that I just needed to smack the fireballs back at the dinosaur to defeat it. To grab this mirror and reflect the moonlight, I jump across invisible platforms that are illuminated by lightning coming from a storm now raging outside to grab this key. I actually really like everything here, even the small bit of jumping across the platforms. Use this new key to unlock another door and brings us to this new room.
A man with guts and honor. I like that. But it's a shame you serve Mundus.
The Dark Knight reveals his face after going Super Saiyan, and, well, he kinda looks like Dante. Virgil is literally bigger, faster, and stronger than he was last time we fought. Now also summoning ghostly blades in a few different formats. I like this fight just because the last few times we fought the boss for a third time, it didn't feel like they brought anything new to the table. Oh wait. Well, cat's out of the bag. After defeating the Dark Knight, a pendant matching Dante's falls. We now know that Virgil was alive and has been working with Mundus this whole time.
What a twist!
Triss has also been working with Mundus this whole time.
What a twist!
The two amulets come together, making one, revealing that Force Edge's true form was Sparta.
What a twist!
Continuing forward, we turn the Philosopher's Egg into an elixir, and Dante ends up fighting a nightmare again. This time when it swallows him, he fights Griffin. Portal jumping around, I return to where I put the Staff of Hermes and jump into the other portal this time, leading us to the mirror room. I like that the mirror isn't only the first thing that the camera is set on, but also is now glowing red. Makes my gamer brain go, I need to touch that. The elixir reacts with the mirror, and we are now in a wavy version of the castle. I get it. It's a mirror of the castle. Just make it a different color or something. Though the wavies just give me a headache. We are introduced to nobodies here. Nobodies are the upper class of lesser demons. While in combat, they can put their masks on to become enlarged. I grab the Philosopher's Stone and leave. I play Portal to get back to the chapel and end up falling into the puddle when I use the Philosopher's Stone to open a portal to the underworld. But now in the realm of Mundus, the environment has completely fucking changed. Everything looks fleshy and corrupted or rotting, and there's no music here. Just moans and groans of the lost souls. Pushing forward, Dante enters a room to find Trish injured in the room of sacrifice. But this is a trap to give the nightmare a third and final shot at us. This fight is just like the last two. And just before Dante finishes off the nightmare, Pikachu uses Thunderbolt. Then the nightmare does this net thing that I haven't seen yet. Yeah, a lot of good it did it. After destroying the nightmare, for real this time, I promise, the power contained erupts out. After saving Trish, Dante reveals that she looks just like his mother, and that's the only reason that he saved her. Then says some weird shit about her face and not her fire. It's not the lines. It's just the way they're delivered. It just does not sound natural. Anyway, Mundus tells Trish that she failed, and we've seen how he takes failure. 3 missions left, 21, 22, and 23. Probably the worst missions. Dante enters a room with a giant heart beating in the middle, with fleshy tubes coming out of it. Great set piece. In the right corner, there's a fleshy vase-looking thing with a white circle around it. Okay, so this is the second time that weird circle thing shows up in this game. Slice it up and it unlocks a door in the room behind you. The tunnel begins to move. Is the underworld alive? Or is the castle alive and now I'm inside of it? What the hell are these? Why does it feel like I'm in the intestines of a huge monster and these are like some parasites in the walls? These things suck. They feel like med pack checks. Like they're here just to suck the life out of you. There's even a part with lava. This is the monster's stomach. This is acid. I'm convinced. You won't change my mind. I get a big door to open and I start mission 22.
The legend, wait for it, and I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of that word is dairy.
Battle. This leads to a giant marble room with a statue of an angel sitting in it. This looks suspiciously like the statue that disappeared from the main hall. Hold the fuck up. Is she faking it? Those... Bitch, they're not even locked!
How much longer are you going to keep zapping?
Are you going to keep zapping? Dante, shut up, dude. Fucking Christ. I don't even know what to say at this point. Okay. Mundus's boss fight. What the fuck is this? I feel like they just gave up at this point. Yeah, you fly at Mundus, you shoot little balls, you double trigger, and turn into a fucking dragon. Okay, whatever. I beat him. Nope. He shoots me. I fall. Fuck, phase 2. Damn it. That means there will probably be a phase 3. Here we are playing the floor is lava from platform to platform. Blow up the balls, get your devil trigger back faster, use the devil trigger to be able to shoot and hurt Mundus in his open chest. After dealing enough damage to him, he will destroy platforms. Also, the lava dragon tries to kill you. I don't get it. I was just a dragon and now the dragon wants to kill me. There's nothing legendary about this fight. The camera angles make jumping from platform to platform needlessly hard. So I just sit in one spot, popped every single item I had in my inventory to keep my devil trigger going. I was still repeatedly knocked into lava, or I just fell to inaccurate jumps. This fight was not fun. And doing this multiple times sounds fucking horrific. Okay, so I killed Mundus. Okay, so I killed Mundus. I give you the one reason to play this game.
My mother risked her life for me, and now you too. I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
Why? Fucking Christ. Why is it like this? I'm so sorry. I know this is supposed to be like a big emotional moment, but like, good lord, who allowed this? Why did this kid? Why is this what they chose? I don't get it. Oh hell, I killed Mundus and now the island is falling apart. I have 5 minutes to get out of the castle that I've spent the last 5 hours exploring. Around every corner, enemies of all types are trying to stop me. This is actually a lot of fun. This was the fast-paced run for my life that the ending needed. I'm almost out when... Shit, the floor caves in. Dante falls into the sewers as the castle falls apart. Mundus teleports in and they have their final showdown. Dante has accepted his fate and that the castle is going to be his tomb, but he is determined to make sure that it is Mundus's as well. This fight is much better than the last. It is just them standing there. We chip away at Mundus, revealing his true form, until Trish shows up, lending Dante her power, and Dante makes his last stand.
It looks like we have a winner.
Jackpot. Trish, devils never cry. These tears are a gift only humans have.
We're too late.
Oh. That's why there's a plan there. What a weird set piece. Please, please, no flying. No more flying. God damn it. God damn it.
The sky, so clear, so blue.
The sky is fair. It'll always be above everyone's head, no different.
Like the sky. I feel like my heart is becoming clear.
Let's not forget, though, the someday return.
There's no need to worry, right? Because the world has the legendary Dark Knight Dante and his sidekick.
How the hell did this game start a franchise? Devil May Cry is a beautiful mess and a happy accident. Upon release, Devil May Cry was more than well received, scoring nothing lower than 4 stars and nothing lower than a 9 out of 10. It would go on to sell 1.1 million copies in the US by 2006. But is it worth playing now? Is it worth the Steam price tag of $30? And was it as good as I remembered? Yes, yes, and yes. It is plain to see why this fast-paced hack-and-slash game has grown such a cult following. The core of the game, the combat, is so much fun. Trying different things to get that S style point. As a kid, I didn't care about the story. I just wanted to be a demon hunter with a trench coat. That's it. So, the game was just that. The story isn't that important when you take the game for what it is. Fun. Although the end is kind of shit, but the rest of the game is, ugh. I think Josh Strife Hayes said it best when he said that Devil May Cry is a horror game, but you get to play as one of the monsters. And that is something that makes it so much fun. Is it worth $30? For sure. You get 2 amazing games. And Devil May Cry 2. But you can always go get a code from G2A for like $10. And it's the same HD collection. I'll leave a link below. A title like Janky Accident or a cult classic makes it sound like these are the only 2 options. But in reality, it's both. I love this game 20 years ago, and I love it now. And I will be replaying and trying to unlock all the collectibles and hit those S tiers. If you made it this far into the video, you are truly one of those chosen Archangels. Thank you. I make these videos for you. Please make sure you show the channel support by liking and commenting your favorite devil arm in all of the games. And please consider subscribing to make sure you keep up with future content. There will be a large gap between this and my next video. It's work season up here and you gotta make sun where the hay shines, or some shit like that. But I will be back, as always, I promise. Special thank you to those names that are on screen. You guys show me the most support and I love you all. And as always, make sure you stretch those wings. They will take you somewhere, someday. Okay.
It looks like we have a winner.
Jackpot.